Welcome to the You Triumph podcast, where we explore the triumphs and tribulations of extraordinary leaders from diverse backgrounds. I'm your host, Trevor Sterling, and across the podcast, I hope to inspire success by highlighting that irrespective of social background or personal characteristics, with fair opportunity and the appropriate mindset, ultimately anyone can be successful. From incredible achievements to key life lessons learned, the goal is to shed insights into the mindset, motivations, and stories behind the success, because you triumph if you believe. So I'm delighted to welcome Phil Gill to this You Triumph Breakthrough Series podcast. Phil Gill is somebody who I absolutely admire. He's somebody who has gone on to develop a very successful disability property business, very much in my space as I'm a major trauma lawyer. But what I'd like to do today, really, in having a discussion with Phil, is just to reflect on the fact that there are so many young people now who are directed to the idea that they have to go through school in the conventional way, take a certain number of GCSEs, achieve a certain level of grade, then go on to do A-levels in certain subjects and again achieve certain grades, and then go on to university, probably a Russell Group university, and all of that is meant to be what's necessary for success. Well, Phil and myself, we've both bucked the trend and achieved success without that kind of a start. So we're going to explore, what does it take? What kind of mindset do you need if you're to achieve a success? I'm a believer, Phil is a believer, that with fair opportunity and the appropriate mindset, you can achieve no matter what your background. So welcome, Phil. Delighted that you could join me.
Hi, Trevor. Thanks for inviting me to do it.
A pleasure. So we're going to imagine a ladder here, and you probably heard my catchphrase: don't just aspire to climb the ladder, aspire to be the ladder. So we're going to start with the top rung of the ladder, success. What does success look like? So can you just give us an outline of your achievements, what your role is now, what your business does?
We provide property services for people that have been involved in a trauma of some kind, catastrophic injury as a result of personal injury or medical negligence. We've got a team that help people find properties, so either newly injured or people that have recently had liability proven and got an interim payment. We'll help them find a rental property and then negotiate with the agents and the landlords to get adaptations done to the rental property so that when they get released from hospital, they're able to have somewhere that's a safe space to go to. And we help people when they get the required amount of funds together, either a case settles or a bigger interim payment. We'll help them find the right property to buy. And then we've got an architectural team, quite a large architectural team now, that will help them do the necessary adaptations and project manage that to a conclusion.
And would I be right in saying that PLG is, if not the largest, it's certainly one of the largest disability property specialists in the country?
Yeah. I think I keep an eye on them on the marketplace, but yeah, I don't think there's anybody that employs more people than we do. But that for me, the key driver is that I want us to be the best, not the biggest. There's plenty of big firms that don't do good jobs in whatever industry, but I want to ensure that everybody that's part of our team shares the goal that we want to be the best at what we do. And, we work quite hard to try and get to that point. I wouldn't ever say that we've got to that point. And there's still plenty more that we can improve on and adapt the way that we do things, adapt to the marketplace. This isn't an exact science. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution that works. The same solution doesn't work for everybody. And I want us to be, the word I use when I'm training is malleable. We've got to have a different method and a different way of approaching things. We do not get it right all the time. And when we don't get it right, we want to make sure that we do everything possible to put it right. I think that's all you can ask of anybody that you're engaging.
And you're the managing director.
Yeah.
So I'm the senior partner of Morvalo. And obviously my values are very dear to me, and I try and instill that in all of those that I work with. And I'm just sensing from the way you answered that question, your values are really important in terms of making sure that they're transmitted right across your business.
Yeah, they're everything. They're everything. Honesty, integrity, those sort of things are, what I want us to be about. I think that's what we're about, but I'm biased in what I think to a point. Doesn't matter. It's what people like you or our mutual clients think about us that really counts. But that's what we're striving to achieve. We had a team day last week, got everybody together. Our company's based on three sites, one in London and the architects in Leicestershire, and the admin and the property search team are based in Devon. But we also have a number of people dotted around the country that are able to get out and look at properties at a moment's notice. So it's important when you're managing people over a long distance that you try and get them together. We get together once a quarter, and it's invaluable. Just putting names to faces and having a bit of interaction and a bit of understanding of the other side of the business, because they are two entirely different disciplines, although there's a common goal. So we do work quite hard at building that team ethic. I think that's vital in any industry.
And you're designing and building properties for those with disabilities, and you're also finding them as well.
Yeah, so we'll find them and we'll design them, and then we'll help the clients find the right builder to actually build the project for them. We're not builders, we're architects.
A tremendously rewarding thing to do. I mean, I know that with all of my clients, there's always something that touches me, because I'm dealing with people with serious injuries. It must be the same for you on a personal level.
Oh, absolutely. I think, I've been involved in property, as we'll discuss, probably all of my career pretty much. A couple of little variances, but nothing is as rewarding as the work that we do, by a country mile. I could probably do things that are more lucrative. I could certainly do things that are more lucrative, but they wouldn't be anywhere near as rewarding. And, you're actually helping people. I think you mentioned you're interviewing a major trauma surgeon. He actually saves lives. That is something that's a gift, an incredible gift. But, as a normal guy from Devon, to be able to share skills and make a difference to people is off the charts.
So I love the way you described yourself, a normal guy from Devon. So I always say ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And I think that was just encapsulating the way you said it. So built a 7-figure turnover business.
Yeah.
Founded in around, 2012?
Yes. Yeah, been going since 2012. Started off two of us working in an office that was little more than a broom cupboard. Had an idea that it could work, and we've built it up from there. It's not been easy, that's for sure. It's any industry that's good is competitive, and that's the way it should be. The reputation that we've got has had to be earned, and we're proud of where we've come from and where we've got to. But that's not the end of the journey. There's loads more to do, and unfortunately, as you well know, there's lots and lots of people that need help in this industry. So we're keen to progress it further and help more people.
So in just over 10 years, you've gone from 2 to up to about 20 people and built a 7-figure turnover business as an ordinary guy, as you put it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anybody can employ lots of people. Anybody can build, a big business, but it's the work that you do and the ethic you do in the ethics that you have in doing it that I think really count. Well, they do for me. It doesn't make me right. It's just my opinions and how I think things should be done.
So it's a brave thing, though, because you've got to be courageous to start up a business. But you're not just starting up this business. You're also involved in football as a director.
Yes, my career, I guess you can call it that, was an estate agent. I started working in Devon, then decided to spread my wings and got a job in London, thinking the streets were paved with gold. A little bit like Dick Whittington, set off at 48 hours notice. Still can't quite believe I did that. Got called at 6 o'clock on a Saturday to say, you've got a job, but you need to be there at 8 o'clock on Monday. My brother took me to the train station, still saying, are you sure you know what you're doing? And jumped on the train and started a new job in a new area. Didn't know anybody. I had two mates that lived in London, and within 2 weeks, they both moved to America. I don't think those two things are connected. And just start again, basically.
And so what was the connection with the football? How did you get into football?
I was a Plymouth Argyle fan from pretty young. used to go with my best friend and his dad, and was hooked basically. So all the time I worked in London, I had a season ticket pretty much all the time. I used to go home every other weekend to see my son. I had a son when I was very young. I was only 18 when he was born. So we, in effect, grew up together, really. His mates are still my mates, and they're all still in touch with my gang and his gang. It's quite nice, but we used to go and watch football together. I paid as a fan to go on the pre-season tour with the team and got chatting to one of the directors. And then about 2 weeks later, he rang me and said, "I'd like to talk to you about some business." I was working in Knightsbridge at the time and thought he was talking to me about selling his aunt's house. So I raced off to the meeting thinking, happy days, we're going to get a nice big chunky house behind Harrods to sell. And he put a wad of papers on the desk and said, "This is top secret, but we're putting a consortium together to buy the club. And we need one more person, and you look like the sort of person that might be the right fit." So just before, the day before I'd gone to Scotland, I'd been gazumped on a house that I'd been trying to buy for 6-7 months. So I had some cash spare, which was literally every single penny that I had. And just thought, I might not get this chance again. So took the plunge, chucked all my money in and started praying, basically. And it was literally no more than that. We lost the first 2 games and was thinking, crikey, this is not as easy as it looks. Didn't know anybody else that I'd gone into business with, complete strangers. And it sort of snowballed from there.
I'm interested because you didn't know anybody else really. You're putting all your money into this business, but you're prepared to take the risk. Where does that confidence come from?
I don't know really, to be honest. I think it was more a case of this might be my one shot at doing this. And I genuinely felt I could make a difference. I wasn't in it for the prawn sandwiches or anything like that. And I'd got a season ticket, so I used to go to the games anyway. But it was just the thought, there's something in this, and I'll take the plunge.
So there's a theme running through this, which is, thinking that you can make a difference and actually believing in yourself to be able to do that. Going back to school years then, because you went to grammar school, did you?
Yeah.
Was that a selective entry? Did you have to do the sort of 11 plus or?
I didn't do the 11 plus, and then got called back in. I think I must have been on the borderline. The secondary school and the grammar school almost shared a site. I mean, it is one big school now. Ended up getting selected to go to the grammar school. So I must have been borderline on the 11 plus, and really enjoyed going to school. It was a great school to go to. Didn't work hard enough. Didn't really get many qualifications.
When you say not many, Phil, do you remember how these would have been? Were they GCSEs or O levels?
It was one of the last years of O levels.
Me too.
I think I got English language, English literature, and woodwork. So that probably means I'm qualified to make a bookcase, and that's about it.
So, with your 3 O levels, did you go to college? What happened after?
Well, I thought about going to uni, but I had 2 dreams: either to go in to be a footballer, which I was nowhere near good enough, or to go into the Marines. And I did the junior officer entry stuff and had my heart set on that. And then about a week before I was due to join up, I broke my leg playing football, and that was that. And they basically said, "You'll be no good to us for at least 12, 18 months. So I did the year's retakes course in the lower 6. Part of that course was a week's work experience, which was estate agency. My mum sorted that out for me. And I enjoyed that and got on well with the guys there. And you started working on Saturdays. And then by the end of the year's retakes course, I decided I wanted work, and that was that. So I didn't go into the Marine. I think I was probably arrogant and stubborn enough to say to myself, if the Marines don't want me when I want to go, I'm not going to go to them when they want me to come. Forget the fact that it was to my benefit, because my leg wouldn't have stood up to training, because it was a very, very bad break. But I couldn't be bothered with staying at school and doing A-levels a year late, and just thought, it's time to work.
And did you know? So did you have a plan of what that first job was going to look like, or were you just looking for any kind of job?
I ended up staying and working for the firm that I'd started at as work experience.
Well, so it's interesting because I didn't have a plan. I same as you. I think I might have got one more O level than you. I ended up with 4, but then left school, and by chance I was an opportunity met the careers officer, 3 job options: tennis racket stringer, warehouseman, outdoor clerk for a law firm. And I went for the last one. So it wasn't a plan, and stayed there for 20 years. You went work experience, went into that job.
Work experience, Saturdays, school holidays, and then the old YTS scheme, £25 a week.
And then you start working the estate agents. What was your mindset then? Was it I'm gonna be an estate agent? What were you thinking when you started there?
Yeah, I worked for a traditional Devon market town estate agency. So there was a bit of estate agency. I did all the boring jobs, filing. I used to have to my job was to keep on top of all the big OS maps, the big A1 size maps, and all the surveyors and various people that use them used to take great pleasure in mixing them all up, and I used to have to keep them all in code number order, and they were all kept in the loft in this office that was an absolute sweatshop in the middle of January, let alone summer. And then on a Wednesday I used to have to work in the cattle market up to my waist in manure, herding calves through to be sold in the market, which was horrendous, and various other pretty grim jobs. But it was a great grounding. I wouldn't have changed it.
And you've had director roles in a number of businesses since then, before you set up PLG. So what got you to become a leader? There's nothing in your schooling years, from the sounds of things, that was giving you clear direction, and you didn't excel. So what was it that enabled you to become a leader of all these different companies?
I've always been very driven. I've always wanted to succeed. Having a son at 18 focuses the mind a bit, although I have to say I didn't have to grow up quite as quickly as his mum did. But, I would go and see him and then go and play football or go to football training. She had to give up her studies and had a baby. She's younger than me. And, she did an amazing job of looking after him at a really young age. And I think that drove me. Her parents didn't like the fact that I was an estate agent, didn't think it was respectable enough. And I went and got a job in a big office programming deliveries of white goods for the local electricity board. And I got on really well quite quickly there, was managing people within, Lord knows how they thought I could manage people at sort of 18, 19, but within a year I was managing 2 or 3 people. And I looked at all these people around me that were 35 to 45 that had 2.4 kids and a wife they didn't like much and a dog they didn't like much and a Ford Sierra and a 3-bed semi, and they were trapped. You could just see it, all these gloomy faces wandering around. And I can remember thinking, Jesus, whatever you do, don't get to 40 and be like them. You've got to make something happen. You've got to get to 40 and think, I've given it a good go. And I jacked that job in, went back into a estate agency, and didn't look back really. Didn't look back, So that was my main focus.
Something in you that's just really, being self-motivating.
I realised at an early age that you're only here once. I think I'm fortunate to have had that. And everyone says it's a throwaway line, life's not a rehearsal, but it's not. And I've seen in later life with the clients that we deal with, our core client is Joe Average that rides his bike to work and gets hit by a van, and it's the van's fault, and he never goes home again. Literally, in an instant, world turned upside down, and it's not just his world, it's his wife, it's his brother, it's his sister, it's both sets of parents, it's his kids. The knock-on effects are incredible for the work that we deal with, and that's real life.
If we go to the middle of the ladder now, the biggest challenges, obviously you mentioned having a son at 18, but what are the biggest challenges, the things that could have got in the way but you didn't allow them to, and how did you get around those challenges?
In what way?
Well, so you've built these businesses, you started by saying it's not been easy, so there must have been some significant obstacles and challenges which you've had to navigate.
Yeah, I guess being able to take a calculated risk, going to live in London at 36 hours notice, some people might see as a risk. But I just felt that was a good opportunity that I didn't want to turn down, and I didn't have a job at the time. It was around the time that myself and my son's mum split up, and just thought, let's seize the opportunity. I'd always loved being in London and being part of the vibe, if you guess. And I think perhaps I felt like I'd missed out a bit because I didn't do the uni thing or the traveling thing. And I loved every minute of it. It can be it's a tough place and a lonely place, but I wouldn't change it.
The ladder analogy is a good one for you because it feels like whatever rung you've been on, you've always been able to see the next rung and focus on getting to it. And you've not worried about falling down to the rung below. You've just maintained a focus, which is, it's an extraordinary journey, Phil. What I love about it is you're so humble with it.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that achieving things is not just about money or material things that you can touch, and I know plenty of people that have achieved way more than me. I've got mates that are ridiculously wealthy. I've got mates that are not wealthy at all, and I guess the running theme between my mates is they're all lovely people. They're all really lovely people, and I guess I've always looked to try and surround myself with nice people. I don't suffer fools.
Values are important to you and
Yeah,
making a difference.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Phil, I say don't aspire to climb the ladder, aspire to be the ladder. So now you being the ladder, giving back, what advice would you give to particularly those young people out there now who aren't sure about their career direction, who perhaps lack confidence? What would you say now, being the ladder, to help them to climb the ladder? What guidance would you give?
I think have a plan. Think about what you want to be, what you want to aspire to be, and not just. I think trying hard not to say. I am a granddad. My son has now got a son, and I love that little boy to bits. But I'm trying not to sound like a granddad because I think I'm a 30-year-old, 57-year-old in my eyes. I am anyway. But yeah, have a plan. It's not all about money and material things. Although if that floats your boat, then so be it. I've got a nice house, I've got a nice car, but they're not everything. So I think have a plan or have a target and have a plan on how to get there. I think is important. Look at what you're going to achieve. Yeah, people say, if you work hard, you can achieve stuff. Well, dustmen work hard. They might not want to be a dustman. They might think, crikey, this is the only way I'm going to keep a roof over my head and food in my children's tummies. They might not choose to be a dustman, but you need to know where you're going. I think you do have to know where you're going. You have to have a roadmap and what you want to see out of life. I've also got mates that would never dream of taking. I don't think I've taken risks. I think I've just made calculated decisions. But to other people, I can see clearly how other people would see them as risks. And I've got mates that would not dream of doing half the stuff that I've done. And I wouldn't judge them for that. That makes us all different. I've got other mates that have taken way more risks than I would do and have achieved amazing things. So, yeah, have a plan for sure. And don't be afraid to change it. You might think, right, I'm going in this route and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And if it's not working, change it, because you can.
Yeah, well, I think you're a tremendous example of somebody who takes advantage of their opportunities, and you just have the mindset which is one of succeeding. And I think you've really shown during this conversation your triumph.
Yeah, I think also being able to help other people achieve is where I am now, and that's really rewarding. So not only helping the clients, but helping our team and the people within it become the best person that they want to be. I think that's really rewarding when you get to my stage in a career as well.
Being the ladder. Thank you, Phil. It's been wonderful. What I will say to you, Phil, I know you're incredibly humble, but what you are is an inspiration, a quiet inspiration. And can I also wish you the best of luck? I know you've won a number of awards. You're an award-winning business, and I know that you're shortlisted at the Purse Injury Award. So good luck with those, and thank you for your time. It will have helped many people, I'm sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you for joining us for the You Triumph podcast. I've been your host, Trevor Sterling, and this has been a journey of triumphs and the mindset that makes them possible. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, and leave a review. Your support helps others discover the show and the valuable insights shared. Join us next time as we continue to unravel the stories and strategies for succeeding in life. Remember, you triumph if you believe, and if you've achieved, one must not aspire simply to climb the ladder, but to be the ladder.